Full house today. This is nice. Good to see you.
So we are recording now. We are live, ready whenever you are, Commissioner Opstad.
Thank you, Chuck. Good morning and welcome everybody. Hopefully everyone enjoyed something super fun in San Diego while we were dark during July. It was seeing many of you at different events. It was a great time, but great to see everybody here back in person. So good morning. I'm calling this meeting to order at 8:34. My name is Keith Opstad, and I am the chair of the City of San Diego Commission for Arts and Culture Public Art Committee. We're going to do a quick roll call to confirm committee member attendance. When I call your name, please say present. Commissioner Friedman.
Present.
Francisco Eme.
Present.
Dr. Guillen. Wayne Holton. Commissioner Abe Hughes.
Present.
Commissioner Alessandro Moctezuma.
Present.
Dr. Anjun Park.
Present.
Commissioner Imani Robinson.
Present.
Dr. Denise Rogers. Thank you, everybody. Your attendance has been noted. We will now move on to non-agenda public comment. The public was invited to submit public comment on agenda and non-agenda items via a web form, which is accessible through the website, through the agenda and the commission's website. Members of the public may also join the meeting in person and as webinar attendees. If members of the public have submitted comments in writing via web form, staff will read aloud public comment submitted per city public comment protocol. I will call on Chuck to read aloud only any non-agenda public comment or to call on any attendees who would like to provide comment.
Thank you, Commissioner Opstad. No non-agenda public comment was submitted in writing. Currently no virtual attendees. I'll ask those members of the public who are here in person if they would like to provide non-agenda public comment. Please fill out a speaker slip. Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. Good morning once again, everybody. The full commission was dark in July, so I have no updates pertaining to that. Hope everyone has had an enjoyable summer thus far. I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge Dr. Guillen and Dr. Anjun Park, who after this Public Art Committee meeting will have served their 4 terms with the Public Art Committee and then some. While we understand that term limits are what they are, we are sorry to see them go and thank them for their participation and also their contributions. Dr. Park and Dr. Guillen joined the Public Art Committee in the spring of 2019 and winter of 2020, respectively, and have lent their expertise as scholars of art history and criticism with backgrounds and that focused on the public realm as educators and moreover as active members of San Diego arts community. As Public Art Committee members, they have provided feedback to the development of numerous City of San Diego public artwork commissions, some now complete and many still underway, as well as numerous community-initiated projects on city property and in the right-of-way. Dr. Park and Dr. Guillen were both avid volunteers to serve on artist selection panels. Both served on the artist selection panel for the Mira Mesa Community Park Public Art Project, a project still underway some 5 years hence. As among their first contributions to the Commission for Arts and Culture. Subsequently, Dr. Park has served on panels for the Fairmont Avenue Fire Station, San Diego Practice, and Hidden Trails Park. Dr. Guillen on the panel for Southwest, now Grove Park, as well as having generously coached artists participating in the public art public sphere intensive. Dr. Guillen and Dr. Park also saw the Public Art Committee through the transition to virtual meetings and back to in-person meetings, and have also witnessed and worked through the pivots and uncertainty brought on by the COVID-19 COVID pandemic. On behalf of the commission, a most gracious thank you to Dr. Guillen, who's not with us today, and Dr. Park. Let me just do a little. I'm going to keep you off guard. There you go. For their 4+ years of service, your invaluable contributions and commitment to the work of the committee has helped this program to grow and flourish over a very interesting few years. We look forward to encountering their work at Southwest College and UCSD and their contributions to the broader San Diego arts ecosystem in the future. And I wish them all the best. One more.
Thank you.
I hope everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes from the June 14th, 2024 meeting, Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the minutes as they are?
I move to approve the minutes.
We have a motion. Is there a second? Okay, thank you very much. You just missed your giant shout out.
Oh, I did.
I'll read it to you after. Yeah. So we've got a first and we got a second, and I also like to acknowledge that Dr.
Sorry
Guillen.
to interrupt, but who made the second, just for my?
Oh, I'm sorry, Dr.
Oh,
Park.
okay,
Yeah, we had a
thank you.
first by Commissioner Hughes and then a second by Dr. Park. And also Dr. Guillen has joined us, just wanted to acknowledge that. Now we will take a vote. I will call your name and you will respond out loud with a yay, nay, or abstain. Remember that you do not have to have been present at the June meeting to vote or discuss. Commissioner Friedman,
Yay.
Francisco M.
Yay.
Dr. Guillen,
Yay.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yay.
Commissioner Moctezuma,
Yay.
Dr. Park,
Yay.
Commissioner Robinson,
Yay.
and my vote is a yay. Thank you all. Chuck, would you please read any public comment for this item that was submitted in writing and call on any attendees that would like to provide comment for this item?
Thank you, Commissioner Opsted. No comment submitted in writing. Currently, no virtual attendees. I'll ask those members of the public in attendance. All right, seeing none.
Okay, now we're gonna get to the good stuff. We have a presentation for the schematic artwork proposal for the San Carlos Branch Library Public Art Project by Recite. I would like to call on Laura to provide an overview of the project and process and introduce the Recite to provide the presentation.
Thank you, Commissioner Opsted. So on the screen are the steps in the artwork development process. We are currently at the schematic artwork proposal phase. So we will see Recite's schematic artwork proposal. And your role today is to provide feedback to the artists for their schematic artwork proposal. And then they will take that feedback and then develop their final artwork proposal. And then the exciting part starts when they start fabricating and eventually installing. So with that, I'm just going to introduce Shane Albritton of Recite, who will be presenting today. As a reminder, Recite explores notions of community identity and narrative in the context of public space, and they really make a point to draw on the site's cultural landscape and create work that resonates with local and or historical meaning, making unseen connections between themes and ideas. And I feel like they did that beautifully with the proposal you'll see today. So on the screen now is a map of where the new San Carlos Branch Library will be located. It's actually located where the current San Carlos Branch Library is. So it'll be revamped and it's really exciting. So next slide. Okay, so with that, I'll turn it over to Shane, who will be presenting. And Shane, you can just say next slide when you want us to move to the next slide. Thanks.
Sounds good, Laura. Thanks so much. Hi, everybody. I will do my best to get through this. Full disclosure, I'm having a bit of a visual migraine, so I'm trying to visually see these slides. Go ahead and go next. Oops. And let's see, go one more. I know we have a short time, and since this has already been presented, I can just kind of give a brief overview of some of the presentations we've had and some of the feedback we've had and kind of next steps and how we're dealing with some of the discussion that we had. With the wall piece itself, as you recall, it is a concept that unites both the flora and fauna of San Carlos, and so it's kind of a combination of images of different flora and the way that animals and people can perceive the color palettes of those, and they're kind of integrated, and they switch back and forth through lenticular, and we'll show a visual of that in just a second. And some of the secondary feedback with the Public Art Committee We did discuss creating this wall in more of a dimension, and we agree that this should extend from a 2-dimensional surface just a little bit. I think we pushed it out to about a 2-inch depth, so it still remains within ADA regulations. It doesn't extend beyond that. There was a request to incorporate visual of humans, of faces. And, after studying this and looking at the overall composition and all the visuals that are happening, because there are a lot of visuals happening with the color palette kind of switching back and forth and then being cut into various profile sections. We felt like adding people to it was really overwhelming, and it needed to have a certain purity of the concept versus anything that could potentially look like an advertisement or a poster, which is ubiquitous, something we see. So we really wanted to simplify the concept and just have it be strictly the nature of the area and then the color palettes and the forms. We felt like it was pretty substantial. With adding extra locations around the space, we feel like we need to really focus on this wall as a massively huge piece of art here that is visual, viewed from all over the library and in every direction, that will be constantly changing and moving. However, the interpretive panel that we discussed that could potentially be right around the corner. We are really excited about incorporating this and working with other libraries. We understand there's similar content that we can utilize and collaborate on together that can reveal biodiversity in the area and also relate to the mural and have a certain amount of programming involved. And so that you can go to the next slide. Go ahead and go next slide. There's number 1 and number 2. So number 1 here in plan is showing the mural, and it's the 30-foot long mural. But number 2 is kind of a placeholder right now. We really anticipate that this could be much larger. I think after we get into the deep research of this and start collaborating with some of the other directors in the library, we can expand this side of things to incorporate more biodiversity and something related to the mural that it just kind of, I think we can expand upon that versus a smaller panel. So we like to spend a little more time on the secondary elements of this that could coordinate with other libraries in the area. If you could go to the next slide. And this is just more of the research of the flora and fauna of the area. And you can go to the next slide. And again, this is also Mission Trails Regional Park. And these are just some images that just is like a sampling of some of the color palettes that we're able to use in the mural. You can go to the next slide. And just as a reminder, the mural itself would incorporate different types of vegetation in the area, but in a lenticular format, we're able to see kind of at the bottom where it says human vision and snake vision. So the perceived notion of how humans see with the cones in their eyes and their spectrum of vision versus different species spectrum of vision, which are all wildly different and really interesting. And so I think that would be an incredible programming feature as well. You can go to the next slide. And I guess this is kind of just a sampling of left and right, human, animal. So it's as if it's the same content, the same photo of a very specific species, and then the more bluish color is how they would kind of flip back and forth. The image doesn't move, but the color does change. And you could go to the next slide. The topographic location of Cowles Mountain is kind of an example of the topographic sections that lead up to the top, and so we're kind of using that as a landmark to demarcate all of the different types of species. And we're you know, that's kind of an image that is identifiable within the community. I think that's kind of the jewel in the community. So we want to use that as a framework. You can go to the next slide. This is maybe a diagram that will help understand that the line drawing on the wall, the whites, if you see the white space between the lines, those are the dimensional elements, and they extend about 2 inches depth from the wall. Where there are black line drawings, those are essentially spaces, maybe just like a gap or so of space between each element. There is a panel on the side. I think that's just, honestly, that's a space holder. I think we would like to be that a lot more substantial on right around the corner, a little bit bigger. And we can go to the next slide. This is a typical section that will help us take each of the various components, because they're all individual pieces with space between them. They're lenticular, high quality printed pieces that we have samples we're happy to bring with us to show and to touch and explore how that actually works. This will be attached to HDU, which is high density urethane, and this will be mounted in a professional setting and cut precisionally to this unique shape. These will be HDU is kind of what people use in exterior based signage. That is, it's high traffic, high exterior based material that is durable and used. It can be sanded and it can be painted and it can be refined along the edge. The actual lenticular itself is very thin. It's thick. It's thin, but it's acrylic. It's highly durable. It's easy to clean. And so those are attached together and mounted onto the wall with studs and silicone directly into the wall. They are pretty lightweight. Okay, you can go to the next slide. And this is part of what you've already seen, and kind of the way that the striation within each of these big profile forms kind of flip back and forth. They're kind of like vertical striations that flicker kind of back and forth. And you can go to the next one. It's just kind of shifting around. Yeah, it just kind of goes inverted and moves back and forth. I know it's kind of in a simulation of you know, just to show the different like color ranges, the potential of that. Once we kind of get in there and study, really study the different species and the different perceived color palettes of different species when we choose them. You can go ahead to the next one. It just kind of shows the same, basically same image flipping back and forth with colors. And then here is in the rendering, and right around the corner is, you know, an interpretive panel, which I think that could be a pretty robust, interesting piece of work over there, and be even in multiple pieces, not necessarily just a panel, but like something a little more integrative into that wall. I think that is everything in here. I think that was maybe the last slide, or maybe one more. It's just a close up of that. And how it's pretty dominant in the space and pretty active. I think that's the entire schematic, where we are finalized at this point, and excited to move into having discussions about this and collaborating on the content, and really, you know, getting good photographs and digging into fabrication. And that's everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Shane.
Shane, thank you so much for your detailed presentation. Are there any questions or comments for Recite about their schematic proposal? This is your chance to provide feedback that will help shape the final proposal.
On June 14th, was that at the library with the public? Did they see this presentation? The actual residents of San Carlos?
So we have an artist open house event that's happening on August 17th from 1 to 3. So at that event, they'll see this proposal.
Okay.
Yeah, that the initial Meet the Artist event was just kind of gathering information. Yeah.
Well, it had 2 dates, so I wasn't sure about the second.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
There was one in April.
One of
Yeah.
them was the Public Art Committee meeting where there was
Okay.
feedback given. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
got it.
Question. Thank you so much for your presentation in the midst of just a migraine. My question was regarding the 1-inch gap, these illustrations. In the illustrations on the slides, it's kind of assuming that it's black. Are you anticipating that the background is gonna be black? Or, you know, is that built into the building part of this lenticular mural?
Thank you for your question. No, we don't anticipate any black in it at all. I think it was just kind of representing maybe a shadow, because since it has a little bit of depth, but it's not, there's no black paint, there's nothing black there. There's certainly, it's just an empty gap that would reveal the wall surface behind it. So it's just kind of a, you know, approximation of like a shadow between them.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shane, I've got 2 points. Looking at the visual right now, there is obviously some sunlight to the right. So in basically looking at the mural directly to the left of it, with acrylic, sometimes when it's exposed to sunlight, it can kind of yellow a little bit. Do you anticipate that being an issue, or is there possibly something that can be put on the windows to prevent that from aging over time?
Thanks for your question. You know, any tinting is always good, but for this product, it is certainly a UV grade protected acrylic, also UV grade protected inks, which shall not fade with this. It's kind of an indirect light coming on the side, and it's also protected by climate. But any light tinting is always appreciated.
Excellent, thank you. And the second point is I wanted you to recommend you trademark the Snake Vision, because I think that'd make a great name for a band.
Oh, cool.
Any other questions?
I have a question, or it's more like a comment. I don't know if, I'm sorry that I missed the previous meeting when this was, when there was feedback by the public and everything. But I just find it curious that we also have a lenticular mural in the San Isidro Library. I don't know if the artists have been to the library, and I don't know. I just find it very interesting that what a coincidence. I don't know what was the process behind the lenticular selection for this one, or why did you choose this particular technique?
Because we wanted to not only represent the flora and fauna of the area, the indigenous species of plants, but also use the vision that is perceived by various species as a way of representing diversity, like multiculturalism, sharing different viewpoints of the same topic, and the way that those fluctuate and change back and forth, and the way that they need to coexist together. So we always say it's our low tech, because it's constantly shifting and changing, and you have to basically keep an open mind about the way things shift, the way other people and see things in a different way. So we thought that was an interesting way to capture diversity. And just really the color changes itself, we think they're really beautiful and interesting and fascinating to think about infrared, looking through an infrared scope and how other animals actually see the same thing. And so the programming, I think, for that is going to be really effective and educational. It made a lot of sense to us to be able to view both of these things in the same space versus having them separated, like over here and over there, but together they're kind of integrated here. And we've used lenticular, I think once or twice before, and it's just so incredibly effective, and people really love it, and they're drawn to it, and they interact with it. And so it made a lot of sense to us to use this device, I guess, on this big wall. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your answer.
Thank you.
Any other comments, observations? No? Okay. Well, thank you everyone for your comments and questions. And thank you again, Shane, for your presentation. Laura, can you go ahead and provide an overview for the next steps for this project?
Yes. So as I mentioned, there's an artist open house, which I think we're going to mention one more time. We're really drilling it into you guys. August 17th from 1 to 3 at the San Carlos Library. And so the format of this artist open house is going to be a little bit different than some of the previous projects. So we're going to start with a presentation by the artist and then have the rest of the time leave it for questions and discussion. But that said, if you can't attend right at 1, we're going to have posters with the schematic proposal so you can read it and catch up. But so that's the next kind of major event. And then after that event, the artists will take the feedback they received today, the feedback from the design team and the library team, as well as the feedback from the community that they get at the artist open house. And they'll take all of that to develop their final artwork proposal. And then you guys will see that in a few months.
Just a question on this timing for the artist open house, 1 to 3 on a work day.
Oh, sorry. It's on a Saturday.
Oh, it's Saturday, August 17th, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. I
Sorry.
got the date wrong. Okay, perfect.
Okay. Yeah, great. I might
It's
have
being
said
advertised
the
in that
wrong-
community. I mean,
Yes, we have had, we have circulated kind of that date, even like I circulated it about a month ago, so they've had it. And then we'll send our official kind of channel or like MailChimp and all of that really soon in the newsletter. But yeah, I circulated to like library staff and community. Like,
I make a recommendation just because it's a big institution over there and they get a lot of people from that area, is the Mission Trails Visitor Center. Jennifer Morrissey over there, she likes art. Maybe you can get flyers or whatever, get them to, to also spread the word because it's in their backyard.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Right.
I'll reach out to
Sure.
Jennifer.
Uh-huh.
Thanks.
Thank you, Laura. And quick question, Shane had mentioned earlier having samples. Will there be samples at that opening?
Yes, so that's an exciting kind of element. So there will be kind of tactile materials that you guys can see to just really get a feel for what the artwork might look like on the wall.
Excellent. That's super helpful. Chuck, would you go ahead and please read any public comment for this item that was submitted in writing and call on any attendees that would like to provide comment for this item?
Thank you, Commissioner Opstead. No comment received in writing. Currently no virtual attendees. I'll ask those members of the public. All right. Seeing none.
Thank you, Chuck. I'd now like to go ahead and call on Christine to provide the staff reports.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you for being here in August. I know we usually are dark in August, so appreciate your time and energy this morning. So a few updates. So as you know, we have been facilitating a public art, public sphere. As a reminder, that is a 3-day intensive for artists who are interested in translating their studio practice into a public practice. So tomorrow is our last day of the 3 Saturdays that we are working with the cohort. So I first want to just acknowledge Fritz Friedman. Fritz was able to join us for the first one to thank all of the cohort participants. So thank you for your time and coming to that event. At the first intensive day, the artists got a public art 101. They received information about a humanities. Well, they basically, we had Scott Robinson, who is a local designer, facilitate a workshop for them in the afternoon on really focused on humanity-centered design as it can be applied to place-based art. So it was kind of an interaction, kind of interactive workshop, and artists received kind of tactics and tips and kind of ways to think about engagement and how that can kind of humanity-centered design engagement and tips and tricks to be able to kind of use as part of the toolkit as they move into the public space. So they had that, and then they also just, again, received just some general information. The second intensive, they really got into artist perspective. So we had an artist that's been commissioned by the city in the past, Wendell Kling, come and share perspectives on how he's translated his practice into a public practice. So, and then in addition, we had Lee Kyle, who is a landscape architect with Spurlock Poirier, and she provided an architect's perspective on collaborating with artists, and she's collaborated with multiple artists within our process. And so they also received ways or learned ways about being able to find opportunities, because there's not just a one-all, be-all kind of place for these types of opportunities. And we want to ensure that they're thinking about it, not just within San Diego, but also thinking about it on a national perspective and where these opportunities can be found. And then tomorrow, they will be doing, they've been submitting a response to a mock RFQ, where they're basically submitting kind of an application to us, where tomorrow there'll be kind of a panel of different artists and architects and other folks from Public Art Committee who will be providing feedback to them and just giving them kind of guidance on ways that they can maybe continue to evolve how they apply, the images, the letters of interest, things like that, that can help them be successful in this space. So they'll be doing that. And then in the afternoon, we're going to be doing a deep dive into things like contracting and insurance, and then really focusing on design process, fabrication process, installation, and thinking about maintenance. So it'll be a long day, but it will be a rewarding day, hopefully, for all of our participants. So if anybody is interested in coming, just at any point tomorrow, just let us know. We can provide that information. So let's go to the next. Okay, so just a reminder, our photo fellow for exposure, John Raymond Marialis, has his exhibition up currently in various libraries and here at City Hall, downstairs in the lobby, and then the exterior kind of entry space before you go into City Hall. So just a reminder, this is an exhibition called The New Colossus. There's a number of different kind of works that are in themes, if you will, at various different spaces. All the information is on our website. You can, take a photo of that QR code. If you haven't checked it out, we're going to try to organize some type of tour, maybe tour, because they're all kind of spread out. But we do want to encourage you to get out there and take a look at them in person as much as possible. Just as a reminder, the city will be acquiring 5 pieces from this. And so that will be, brought to you in October for conversation and thinking through what we want to, what you would want to confirm a recommendation for the city for purchase. And it's going to be a hard decision because there's so many amazing, beautiful works. So yes.
Can I just comment on and expand that this is the city's first photographer, right, as a public art project. And I think he did an amazing job. Those photos in particular, they're beautifully framed down below. I really capture what we wanted to accomplish, right? I sat on that panel, and it was also sponsored, produced by the City of Refugee Program, right?
So just to clarify, it was a collaboration, the photo
Collaboration.
fellowship was a collaboration with the Office of Immigrant Affairs.
Right.
And then specifically the Welcoming San Diego Initiative.
Correct. So they wanted to highlight really all of the different immigrant communities that make up this incredible melting pot we've got. And I think he did a really nice job, at least for the ones I see here. I'm anxious to see the other sites.
All right, so let's go back to public art, public sphere, because I forgot something. Oh, yes.
Question. Is there, maybe this is already planned, or maybe it's already there on the website because I haven't seen it. But at some point when this come down, is there gonna be like a website where you could actually see, or a web page where you could see the images so that they live on in another form? Because I think especially, you know, supporting our immigrant community is really important, and since he's done this beautiful project, to highlight them, maybe it'd be nice for it to live somewhere as images.
We can certainly have that conversation. I think we have a sample image right now and the details about each exhibition and where it's located. So having a kind of a depository or something regarding the photos, we'll have to take conversation with John about that, but I don't think it's impossible for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I just want to make a comment at the grand opening that was downstairs.
Mm.
My favorite part was seeing the artist with his father, and then also the artists that had been photographed interacting with their portraits. It was kind of surreal, but it was such an inclusive event, and it really represented the artist and San Diego incredibly well. It was really an experience.
So I wanted to just say one more thing about public art, public sphere, but thank you for all those comments regarding exposure. It is really exciting to see these works and how they really are reflective and inclusive of our communities. So the cohort is going to have the opportunity to actually apply for a real request for qualifications too. So we did this the last time where one of the they all applied, or they had the option to apply. They don't have to. But the outcome of that was an artist who created an artwork that's in the collection now. So we're doing the same thing in the sense, but we are going to focus on a temporary project this time. And so they will all have the opportunity to apply for a temporary project that we are actually going to be facilitating at the Mission Trails Regional Park. So they will be able to again apply. We'll be doing a panel process. The artists will be guided by our amazing public art team and being kind of coached along the way to learn more about how public art actually works, and develop an idea, which will be brought to you all just like we typically do. And then they'll be creating and manifesting it, and it'll be small scale, but it'll still be kind of fun. It's an important year. The anniversary for Coles Mountain is happening in December, and I think they're going to be celebrating all next year as well. We've also been in touch with Jennifer at the Visitor Center, so they're excited about this possibility as well. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys are all in the loop, because that will come back to you at some point in the future.
Approximately how many artists have participated in the intensive?
It's about 25.
Excellent. Thank you very much. It's wonderful.
Big
All
number.
right, so let's go to the next
Last
slide
slide.
and the next slide. Okay, so as Dr. Laura Bullock shared with us, there is an open house for Recite. So again, that's Saturday, August 17th, 1 to 3 p.m. at the current San Carlos Library. So, this will be an opportunity really focus on library patrons and community members, and being able to receive share feedback on that as part of the development process. There'll also be an opportunity, online for that feedback as well for folks who can't attend. So if you're able to come, that would be amazing. And you can obviously feel tactile pieces and samples.
Quick question. What district is the San Carlos Library in?
Council District 7.
7. Okay.
Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so we just got the news that the city will be facilitating a groundbreaking for the Bayer Park, which is a new park in San Ysidro. So that groundbreaking, again, for the park will be Friday, August 16th. 8:30, it's not PM. I think we're going to be at AM there. So 8:30 AM to 9 AM. So basically it's a 30-minute quick groundbreaking. We'll send some additional information. The location will be at 4549 Bayer Boulevard. These are typically very quick, shovel in the ground kind of, but again, celebratory and exciting. As you might remember, Ingram Ober, Marisol Rendon are creating this amazing sculptural piece that kind of has that kind of water kind of feeling, if you will, and will be an amazing attribute that really explores different climate activity and celebrating, introducing more trees within the environment.
Just curious, how long will that, between the groundbreaking and the finalization of the project, how long is that expected to be?
Well, I mean, do you have an update on that? Usually these projects take anywhere between 18 and 24 months. So, it's not going to be tomorrow.
Got it. Okay. Just wanted to know. Thanks.
Just for clarification, the groundbreaking is for the artist project.
The groundbreaking is for the overall project. So just as a reminder, the public art is a component of a larger park project. So this is a celebration of the artwork, but also more,
Okay, cool.
the overall park.
Okay.
Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so also on August 17th is the introduction or opening, if you will, of the World Design Capital Exchange Pavilion. This is a pavilion that is being facilitated by the World Design Capital Organization to really become it's a temporary structure that really explores and really merges, if you will, the border walls into this amazing temporary structure. Underneath this structural, they will be programming through kind of the end of August through mid-November and really exploring different types of design, creativity. They have an amazing program ahead that are going to be different activations within that space. So the opening day, which you can see is pretty long, it'll be 11:30 to about 4 p.m. Of course, this is in the Plaza de Panama. The thing is taking over the entire plaza, but it really is a pretty exciting structure. I've been kind of on the ground watching this thing as it's delivered into the park. It was delivered in, I think we had, it was 8 different trucks had to cross the border with these materials to get this structure there. It was quite a feat to bring down this huge flatbed truck down El Prado. So nonetheless, we have an amazing park team and park rangers that helped kind of guide that through, but we're almost there. So again, August 17th, so save the date. And if you have a chance, stop by, but otherwise it will be there and it will be available for passive use when it's not being activated. So it'll be hopefully an amazing intervention within the park.
Couple of questions, very tactically. What's going to go on from 11:30 to 4? Because I'd like to plan my time there.
So an email has been sent out. Hopefully you got it. We will make sure it's forwarded to every PAC member. But basically, there's a whole program that World Design Capital has created, and they have kind of itinerary
Okay, good.
that
I'll look at that.
identifies what's happening during the different times. So we'll make sure that you all receive that, so then you can plan your day.
Okay, and now more just, clarification, point of information questions. This is something that we funded, right, as part of the grant that we gave to the World Design Capital, right? It's city money that's been also allocated. And can you tell us the amount?
Yeah, so the World Design Capital received an agreement from the city of $3 million to put toward different aspects of their program, one of those being a grant program. The pavilion was a competitive process. Helio, which is a local architecture firm, and Daniel Riunova were the winners through that process. And so the city has put funds toward this, but there's a lot of other folks involved too. So a lot of sponsors and other support happening.
Okay, and final question, sorry to drill down on this, but it's topical, right? Will it be going to Tijuana as planned, so that this is something that both cities can enjoy, since this is a San Diego, Tijuana World Design Capital?
So that is certainly, hopefully, the intent. We're exploring that, with different transitions and leadership and things. It just wasn't able to happen prior to being in the Balboa Park. But where it goes after Balboa Park is still under discussion.
Right, because that was the initial conception, right? Is that first it would start in Tijuana, then come over here. And that never happened, right? So we're starting here. It would be really my expectation, I would say, and part of why we were really supportive of, having the money, go towards this, is that it does end up somehow in Tijuana. And whatever we can do to help make that possible, I mean, I think both cities should enjoy it.
Yeah, so those conversations are happening now as to where the piece will end up. It is temporary in nature, but I think it's fairly structurally sound, so it can have a life after this.
Okay, great.
And can you just refresh how long it will be on display?
Yeah, so really it's going to be mid-November when it's going to be deinstalled. And so essentially August 17th through mid-November, it'll be activated on a weekly basis.
Thank you.
And I think that's my last update just, I don't have a slide for it, but just two other things I just wanted to update this group on. So on September 7th, we'll be sending more information soon to commissioners, PAC members, to basically everybody in San Diego. But the Creative City Draft Cultural Plan will be released soon. And on September 7th, we're going to have a Creative City open house where there'll be some information and remarks about the draft cultural plan and opportunities for folks to provide input, feedback on that plan. So save the date. It'll be 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and at the Comic-Con Museum. But again, we'll be sending details for you in the coming weeks. So just again, save the date on that. We're very excited about rolling this out for public comment. And then another date, if you have time, on September 19th, for our Far South Border North program, which again supported artists and cultural practitioners, both in San Diego County and Imperial County through a Creative Core program. We're going to be having an all-day public impact day, which will be kind of a morning session that will really have panels and speakers exploring the concepts of their campaigns and how it supports health equity within communities. And then in the afternoon, there will be an expo at where different artists will have booths to be able to share more about what their campaigns were like. So we'll be starting that day at MOPA and we'll be finishing the day at the Menge. So more information on that will be coming soon, but it's a great opportunity to just really get engaged with a lot of this important work that's been happening. So that concludes my updates.
Are you sure there's nothing else? Okay. There's a lot going on. I will reach out and try and just send a general reminder to everybody with all of those dates because there's a lot going on. I want to thank everybody on the staff for all your incredible work, but this is a lot going on and what you all make happen is absolutely amazing with the resources that you have. Thank you. Are there any additional committee member reports?
We have an RFQ out for a mural at Mesa College. And I've been, telling the campus that we need murals, and finally we got the funding. So we got them to approve $30,000 for a mural. And the RFQ is out and it's due August 15th. It's pretty accelerated, because they wanted to have it by December. So we're reaching out and we already have some proposals. That's really exciting. So I'm very happy about that. And Wendell is working with me on managing that project on campus. And we have Hugo Crosswhite is our first exhibit at the gallery. He also has an exhibit at Red Assault, which opens tomorrow. But we had been in conversations with him for a while about in this piece called The Rupture of the White Cube. And so we've created a structure within our white gallery space where he's going to be painting live for 2 weeks. And then we're going to have the reception on August 29th. So you can come and student at work creating this mural. So that's really exciting. And personally, I have been working on this project for KPBS. Part of the KPBS Explore, which was asking for content that is about our city. And they were asking people, emerging, established video people to So last year, I proposed an idea last November. It was a long process. I had to pitch my idea. They gave us seed money for doing a pilot, and we created a pilot with featuring Francisco.
Wonderful.
There's, there's obviously a lot of projects that feature artists, but my idea was one artwork, one artist. So this segment focuses on just the creation of that one piece, because I think that's a really good way to show people the whole process from beginning to end. And so this Monday, IHKPUS told me that they won a license art.
Congratulations.
A year to produce 12, ideally I want to do 12 segments. And it would be on their digital format, but then it will also be released, I think, on broadcast. We're
Nice,
still figuring those things.
nice.
So it's funny because my father started as an artist and then he was a TV person. And so I'm like, oh, funny, I'm following this. But I just think, from working with artists for 25 years of my life, I just have such respect, and I just wanna highlight the wonderful work that is being produced in our city. And, put it out there, and so, yeah, and I'm very excited, to that this project, I was like, study got sick. I'm very excited.
Very good. I also have something to share. I mean, Francisco M has got a show up in Tijuana, right, at the Centro Cultural. How long does that go, Francisco?
Yes, the exhibition is going to close on September 13 on Casa de la Cultura Altamira. We have had meetings with the city there.
That's right.
It's a beautiful gallery. It's a beautiful, very vibrant space with a lot of kids, a lot of students. So I'm very excited about that. And yeah, I haven't been able to go again, but I let you know next week, maybe in a couple of weeks, we can all of us go and have a good dinner afterwards.
Yes.
I'm going today.
Yeah,
This
no.
afternoon with Carmen and Michael from Insight. So we're gonna check it out.
I know. I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
couldn't join.
No problem.
We're not aware to congratulate Francisco and with Marisol Rendon, they're nominated for the Sandy Art Prize.
Thank you. Thank you, Lara.
Wow.
Very exciting. October 10th, yes. Marisol, Gabriel Boyles, and myself.
We'll include
Mhm.
that with all the
Please.
dates and everything.
Please.
Yeah, yeah.
Congratulations, this is
In
fantastic.
a calendar.
That's wonderful. Any other reports? No?
Well, I just want to invite everybody to visit the front and visit Marco Ramirez R. Solo exhibition. It's truly amazing. It's very special because, we are a small gallery and Marcos is a big artist and he is big and his work is big. So we have a monumental sculpture, 30 feet, 27 feet tower that everybody's invited to climb and visit. And the exhibition is truly, truly amazing. Please, let's organize some kind of visit, and the artist would love to be there as well and talk to all of you and show you his works.
Excellent show, by the way.
Yeah, yeah,
We-
yeah,
we-
nice.
As you know, we went and visited it, but on August 16th, if anybody's gonna go to that groundbreaking, they can just go over to the front gallery,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
And see the,
That
it's
is
really
that is
nice,
good.
nice retrospective of a lot of his older stuff. It's nice.
Mhm.
And still get to Balboa Park by 4:00. There's a lot going on that day.
On the
Oh,
16th.
the 16th, I'm sorry, I got the 17th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Friday.
Thus again, we'll be sending dates.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you for
please.
that. Finally, Chuck, would you please read any public comment for this item that was submitted in writing and call on any attendees that would like to provide comment on this?
Thank you, Commissioner Opsted. No comments submitted in writing, currently no virtual attendees, and I'll ask one last time. Okay. Back to you, Commissioner.
Thank you,
Opsted.
Chuck. Thank you, and thank you all committee members. Our next meeting is planned for Friday, September 13th. This meeting is officially adjourned at 9:27. Thank you all. Awesome.